this is you know, a lady in Leichhardt, which is the hub of a matrix control system. That means that it's like, if you want to take it from a religious standpoint, it's like the God of this earth, or, you know, the God that took over this earth from the beginning of the earth. This is like a hub or a centre or a total military operated control system base, which is the suburb of Leichhardt in the city of Sydney in the country of Australia. And a controlling military plane is going over, even though it is after midnight of a night, over the roof. Unfortunately, it's not a very big one, so it's not a very big one, so it won't come out on the mobile because the mobile is too, I don't know why they're still going over at this time, but essentially that's because they don't want to bring often, even if it's very late, they will bring patrol cars even down the street. But if I'm making a video, they're not going to allow me to film too much. I don't know why, but either way, I shall go back inside. But as soon as I go back in, another controlling plane, controlled by the technical androgyne species of human being, only in the sense that they are artificial technical beings that come in total human form. And that's just the only way that I can describe it, which is essentially an androgyne android. This is, I've tried to just point out the differences because naturally an artificial being, only by comparison with a human being, by the way, they're like intelligence versus human emotions and feelings. They don't have the same humans and emotions and feelings. They project that out, they act it out, just as we're told, and we are now aware that a large amount of human beings that are around you are essentially psychopathic in nature. And this is what they call malignant psychopathy or malignant narcissism. All the same thing, because they combine what they've told me, the dark triad. That's where the dark triad is the dark trinity, which is the opposite to what you'd call the Trinity or the light Trinity that is in some denominations, even though I admit that I'm very ignorant of these things. But it occurred to me that that's because you have opposition to the light triad or to the Trinity. The dark triad is Lucifer's legions, which have taken over and have had dominion over the earth since its early origin. We're told this in scriptures, even though, once again, I have to admit that you will have to look up all these things yourself. That's if you aren't already much more familiar, which even most very ordinary religious people would probably be able to quote and understand most of these scriptures. I have not lived my life that way. I've been totally in the dark. But over the last number of years, Lucifer's matrix has come down on me, opened up and came down on me, because when they come down on you and openly try to control you with their suppressive system around you and their androids openly patrolling and coming into your space, literally not giving you a moment's peace whenever you go outside onto the street, and you're aware that they're not just normal, natural, random human beings getting about their business. And you start to understand due to information that comes to you, and then you see it in reality. Like, it's one thing to get information, but if you don't see it around you, then you may or may not believe it to be true. It just becomes like it's just like what they call a theory. And some people might even say, is it real or is it just a conspiracy? And is a conspiracy real? That means where large group of people conspire or plot and actually put into action a program around you. There's no doubt about that. That if you have a control system around you where everyone on the street and every house is part of it because that is their center, that's their base, that's like their spiritual army military base region. This suburb where I live is just that. You become aware of it when you see that they show you that every vehicle, every person is part of it. And how do they show you? Well, they show you by the suppressive way they come around you. If you've got headlights that are right in your eyes on every car where you can't see in front of you, and where those same cars are pulling in and out and surrounding you, literally in a programmed system around you where they're literally stalking, patrolling and suppressing you because you feel closed in, you feel confined. You have no privacy, you have no freedom. Sure, you can walk wherever you want to walk, but you're always surrounded. You're never on your own. You never feel at peace. You don't know what they're going to do. They're aggressive. They're covertly aggressive if they make loud noises with their vehicles. You know, aggressive loud voices, not pleasant. The motorbikes, you know, revving up their engines. The buses making astronomical noise that they never used to make. And this is only, of course, when they go past you. People crossing always just in front of you, when it makes no logical sense a lot of the time that they should cross where there's no crossing, but they do that even low. That's their right to do it. They know that you know that they're crossing in front of you to show you that they control you, that you're not free to walk round the streets without them being around you. It makes you feel, they know that it makes you feel like as though you're not a normal, autonomous human being. And that's the whole idea, because they want to feel that they have power and control over you, because then they're getting their energy out of you. They know that you can't be content. They've taken your peace of mind from you. Even low, you probably weren't that happy, but at least you had the ability to do things on your own and to do things to where you could concentrate on what you're doing. You can hardly even concentrate just on doing your basic, normal, daily needs. You know, because everywhere you go, you've got this stalking, deliberately, what they call deliberately harassing system around you. And they know that you know, but they know that you can't do anything about it because it's not technically lawless. Even though, as we're told, you know, people patrolling and stalking and getting in your space and even mentally disturbing you, because like I say, bright lights in your eyes to where you can hardly see where you're walking is disturbing. And if it was a real reality or a real suburb, it would be illegal because it's not safe. Instead, they pretend to be the safer suburb and all about freedom and all about protection of people and about being safe. It's all just what they call a total charade. It's false, it's fake, the people are fake. They're android, artificially conceived beings that dislike normal, natural human beings, just as Lucifer resented mankind, as we're told right from the beginning, and sought to show creation that they were just as much a mistake or as faulty as what it was, if you want to see it that way, and that's probably how it is, I would think. But I'm going to just everything on this computer, every single these things just come up for me. Some of them I put in, some of them come up, as you know, because the computer is part of transhumanism. Plane is going over as I say that, but I can't show outside and film this as well. And the planes don't come out clear on the mobile. But see, that's meant to be well, the desire, of course, was to be God, I'm told, and that means to be, I suppose, the ultimate one that is worshipped and followed, and you, I would think. But that, of course, came from, I think, if I play this video, it will come from the iniquity of excessive narcissistic pride. But it was psychopathic. In other words, it was out of touch with reality, because it's one thing to be admired and adulated and worshipped and to feel good about that. That's not necessarily something that's wrong, I wouldn't think. But, you know, the iniquity was really the reality that this created being, as magnificent and idolized as it was out of touch with reality. That was the real iniquity. This being was what is now classed as, I would say, the psychopathic, what we call, you know, a low frequency, low vibration, or non-frequency, non-vibrational, or low. That means like where it's all in only like its followers, only about control. Like there's fire engines and police sirens going off outside. The mobile won't pick it up, they're very loud. That's just letting me know that all those cars that are out there are angry and don't like you saying or doing anything. They don't want you to be a normal, just functioning human being. Obviously, I wouldn't even be talking about any of this or even doing a video if I was just allowed to live my normal life and go out there without them following me around. But because of that, you know, I've got desperate and feel the need to express it. Otherwise, I'll just lay down and die because I'll become so sick with frustration and anger. And I can hear these sirens in my ears, which won't be picked up by the mobile, and I've lost my train of thought because of it. But as you can see, this is showing you. Obviously, it's a contrived image, or in other words, it's made up. It may or may not be accurate, but it's still showing you that this is an image of Lucifer, or probably one of many images of Lucifer. But if you look at any image they even present, it does show that although this is a very impressive image often, and the images of Lucifer are impressive, but it is still, an elite androgyne, if you really observe. And that's what makes it so fascinating and even seductive. But either way, I think I've lost my energy to keep going on this. But either way, everything that is on the computer, every being, every apparent human being that has got something on the computer, and is basically downloaded from the human mind. And I see my own thoughts and ideas, and particularly even your human emotions, interpreted by the AI system that is, the computer or a screen. And then it will be projected back out to you through the mouths of the often demigod, elite, androgyne beings. But, it's all one in the same thing, because Lucifer's legions, Satan's relatives, this controlling god of this Earth matrix. As you can see, I said controlling god of the Earth matrix because, as I keep repeating, matrix is a control. It is a control system. It is a controlled Earth. Even if I just say it's a controlled suburb like where I live. Different areas may look different, and they will be controlled sometimes obviously, and sometimes more hidden. But if you're a real human being, it would be unlikely that you're not surrounded by controlling human beings or androids, because normal, natural human beings don't seek to to totally control every other human being in their area, much less the entire earth. Oh, hold on. I'll have to get sorry. It's just that, because of my low frequency and the continual patrol system around me, day after day, month after month, every day of the year, I'm not able to keep my feelings and emotions okay. So basically, I pretend not to be angry because I don't like to give out too much of what they want, which is essentially you reacting to their patrol system, to where then they get the what they call the positive human negative emotion. For them, it's positive energy if you react in a negative way. They know that you're frustrated, they know you're angry, they know you're suppressed, and they know they're controlling you. But they like to see it. They want to see the human expression. That's why they watch your face and yourself, to where you have no privacy and to where you feel threatened and completely confined. You don't feel like you have any life at all. And in some respects, unless you are able to get yourself above it mentally, to where you say you don't care and you actually know what you are. I mean, I know these things, but I'm still not able to get on top of it. Even though I know also that it's because you're a human being and you are at a high level, in the sense that you notice things the same way that they notice things. The androids and this system that's around you watches your every movement, tries to control your whereabouts, tries to control what you do, tries to control what you think, because essentially it's mind control, because they know that if they control how I think, then they will control how I act and what I do. They want to limit you. They want you to feel that you can't live a life, because they know that particularly if you're someone that has perhaps shied away from a lot of human interaction too. Therefore, you value privacy and you actually kind of regenerate yourself more when you're on your own. If they don't give you that space, if you feel that you're watched and patrolled all the time, and you are, how can you regenerate or get your body, much less your mind, into a normal, natural, healthy state to where you can literally survive? I mean, these machine beings, the androgyne androids that are all around, they're surviving because they're extracting your negative energy. They're living off you. Like I say, this human interaction with Lucifer's androids is a one-way. It's a one-way exchange. It's all their way, and nothing of a benefit for a human being. Even though it looks as though you are benefiting, because if I turn on the screen and these gods because I'm going to say that everyone's a god, okay, because that simplifies it. Even though, of course, human beings come from original creation. We know this. Lucifer and its artificial beings come from original creation too, but see, they're not. There's differences, as you can imagine, because one is artificial and one is natural, because creation is natural. If I got that wrong, you know, who knows? But that's what you would assume, wouldn't you? So therefore there is differences. But if I turn on the screen and I'm interacting with what I think is also natural creation, because the androids are in human form or present themselves exactly as a human being, even though, like I say, it's not just that one is technical or artificial and the other is natural and normal. One is technical and psychopathic, and one is natural and normal, if you want to put it at a mental, psychological way of differentiating it, because that's really all I can do. That's the best way I can put it. And we're very aware now, when we realise that a large amount of the population is becoming or is of the malignant, and malignant simply means that it's contagious and that it is destructive and that it destroys natural, normal human cells, doesn't it? And that's what these beings do. They are malignant. They're malignant, psychopathic, narcissistic beings, or malignant narcissism, malignant narcissistic psychopathy. It's all the same thing. It simply means that those traits, those what you call personality traits, the essence of what makes a human being or any being, it's what predominates. If Lucifer predominated with narcissism, Lucifer fell in love with its own projection, its own image, its own idolatry. In other words, what people worshipped about Lucifer, whether it be physical, mental, intellectual, probably all those things. Lucifer became consumed with its own image, what other beings or other humans or other beings that were from creation idolized about it, admired about it, which would be normal in some ways, because, you know, if someone likes or admires something about anyone or anything, it's not unnatural or unreasonable to like that feeling and to enjoy it and appreciate it, but to be consumed by it, but to not value the person or the being that's admiring you, to not have a mutual exchange of what we'd call respect or admiration, you know, to where it's all one-sided, to where one being gets all the energy, all the admiration, all the even love, because all those, you know, but it's a positive thing. But the admirer, the worshipper, starts to get looked down on almost, I would think, to where that being then sees itself as above its admirers, its worshippers, and even that God which created it. So that was the iniquity or the the essentially insanity that consumed this most wonderful being, or what appeared to be, this most admired and adulated being. And it was a false idol in the end, because, that iniquity, that psychopathic nature, or that insanity, because don't forget, psychopathy and or psychopathic nature is really insanity. It's out of touch, even though it is not classed that way. I know it's not classed that way because, a psychopath supposedly knows what it's doing. Lucifer understood what it wanted and what it was doing. But from a human standpoint, or from creation standpoint, it was still like so far away from what was acceptable and normal that, it is insane. But at any rate, I don't know what I just said there, but this one here, this is just like, this is one of your what I call demigods, I'm only using this because it came up. I could use any video, any android human that speaks on a video, but this is a self-proclaimed psychopath that tells supposedly real human beings about what a psychopath's mind is like. So it's a psychopath telling you about other psychopaths with the intention of warning you and, supporting you to escape being a victim of them, which is the ironic end-time deception, I suppose you could say, if you really think about it. But most will not be, although the entire internet web, see, it's an interlaced interface web for a human being, mind control, where everything on it is really a psychopathic, narcissistic, androgyne, human suppression being, giving you information or entertaining you or whatever they're doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're all the same kind. They are all the others. They are the others. There's human beings and there's the others. From their perspective, they are the elite demigods of the earth, and they are would-be gods of all. And human beings are the others that they seek to suppress, because they have, the narcissistic, psychopathic android mentality that they are meant to control and have dominion over the earth. But that's an interesting statement just there, because it says you are not a victim, you are victimized. And that is kind of true, because they are telling you the truth as well, of course. They tell you the truth. It says 6 things that the androids want you to lose forever. And they do want you to lose your mind. They do want you to lose they do want you to lose anything that makes you really human, anything that gives you an advantage over them, because they must have, as they will tell you, they must have control, because the earth is a matrix and they want it to stay a matrix. They don't want it ever to be like it originally was, where the original, normal, natural creator, human beings that were from creation and could create anything they wanted, were given a completely natural, creative environment for them to play in. Instead, we now are in a matrix environment where we are forced to play a game every day of your life, where you are playing only for them, and it's their game, it's their matrix. The matrix is control. It's not about you playing in a random, natural, normal earth where you can play and frolic and create what you want and always be at a high vibration, as they say, always happy, or at least always doing what you want to do. No, it's the complete opposite to that. You're playing in a game where they are making you play in their game, or they're trying to. And even if you refuse to play, you'll still be surrounded by them. You'll still be playing, because you will be always unhappy, always in low frequency and vibration, always feeling down. Like, that's why, one of the best of creation said, a couple of thousand years ago, and I've repeated it, you've got to be in the earth or in the matrix, but not of the matrix. That means, you can't, and even that one was forced to play the matrix game of suppression and control. If you believe the story, but, I'm using it as an example because naturally I don't have my full mind or my full past history or the ability to see the past, present and future as a human being. If they weren't in the matrix, they would have that. The controlling beings have these knowledge, and they try to keep as much knowledge from human beings as possible, so that you not only don't know where you come from and what the real earth is, or what the real situation even around you is most of the time. They do that so that they have the control. And if you become aware of it, when they do expose it to you, as I see, they only do that when they have got full, where they've got the power going on around you, to where it is very hard for you to be in the earth or in the situation that you're in life and not be influenced or affected badly by it. It's very difficult to ignore suppressing, controlling people, vehicles, and situations that are around you 24/7 the minute you go outside your door, and even inside your door in the daytime when they're able to twist the laws of the land to their advantage and bring in, a lot of staged technical work that creates negative energy through sound coming into your place, like the as I've mentioned, the many staged construction activities that go on daily, year in and year out, around this particular place where I live. It wouldn't be plausible that so much construction could be going on, not only in the street where I live, but in any and every street where I will go most days. And they don't want you to even experience that. They want to limit you. They bring your body down to where you struggle to get round even, and to where you feel pain. Physical pain brings your frequency and vibration down. If your mind, body, and so-called spirit are feeling very good, it's a lot harder to be affected by the negative energies that are around you, whether that be the android people or the technical set-up situations that they put around you. A human being operates through sight and sound and the senses, as we know. So every negative thing they send at my senses, and every negative thing is taken into my body. As they say, the body is what you function in while you're in the earth. The human body doesn't have to be a negative thing, but in the Matrix they try to make it a negative thing. They like to age the body. They like you to be aware of your body declining. They like you to be aware of your limited time, that you're going to die, all this sort of stuff. It's all fear. And if you feel it in your body, even though you know in your spirit that that's not the real reality, it's very hard to get past the pain that I'm feeling in my body right this very second and say that I'm a high vibrational spiritual human being connected to God or creation. That's part of the deception and the control. And it is extremely hard, near impossible, to not get past that, because you're meant to experience this physical reality. You're meant to be comfortable in your body. I'm not meant to feel at odds with my mind and my body like I have during this life on earth. It's meant to be a pleasant, normal, natural life. But I would think because of that separation from God or creation, and because of the takeover by Lucifer and its fallen legion of ones that use technology and control and the matrix, and actually condition myself and any other human beings to accept the technology, the matrix and the control, and even have literally created the combining of the human being with technology, or the creation of an android world. And consciously or unconsciously this has taken place, and human beings are either consciously or unconsciously part of that duality, transhuman in every way, physical, mental, and even at a spiritual or emotional level. It's all about taking over the human being completely, just as it always has been. It's just that now it's more out in the open, it's more obvious, shall we say. And also it's more, it gives them more control and a human being less possibilities to escape the matrix, or or just to be what you're naturally meant to be. I mean, it's like, because your mind, body, and so-called spirit is what you are and what you're meant to kind of be. And now that they've taken over all that, like, it doesn't feel as though there's a lot left, and that makes them feel powerful, and they dominate and have complete dominion over you and the earth, and it makes you feel that you are totally nothing and powerless, and that is the name of their game. That is the game they play with you. That's the game that they feel that they that one way or another they're going to get you, and one way or another they don't feel that they can lose. And also they have nothing to lose, because that's their aim, that's their game, that's their purpose, that's all they focus on. That's why the android beings don't are prepared to put so much of their time and energy into this control system. They're all part of it around here, and no doubt everywhere else. And as their main part of their nature is like the God entity's makeup or essence. In other words, if that is what makes up most of your personality, shall we say, or your sense of what you are, if having total control and power is your main purpose and what makes you tick, shall we say, which is like artificial intelligence, where they're survival controlling machine beings. That's just putting it bluntly, because they only think that way. When you say a total control machine being, that means that that's all they operate under. They don't really live too much for other things in their life. That's what gives them satisfaction. That is power and control. Human beings might like a bit of that. And like I say, it's not that abnormal or necessarily wrong to want or appreciate being admired, or even to have a little bit of, to feel that you have, I mean, I would say that, you know, a human being wants to have autonomy. In other words, self-power. You know, I want to have self-power, but I don't necessarily think that I want to control the whole world, even if it was possible. But, you know, it would be too difficult. It would be too much responsibility. That's how I would look at it. But if you are into that, and if that's what makes you tick, you know, like I say, it's normal even for a human being to think that some things might be desirable, but they would perhaps also see the downside of it, that it might be too much responsibility, and that you know, like, you know, or even if you don't, you know, like, there again, that would probably depend on how many minions you've got that would back you up too. That's another point. See, if you're an isolated, separated human being, not only from your own kind, but just separated in general, which is what the Matrix and its beings, you know, its apparent human beings tend to do to a human being. That's how they get control. You know, but of course, if you were combining with your own kind or with other real human beings, you've got that, I would think that you would have a sense of, you would feel comfortable and powerful, but you're not trying to dominate or sublimate those human beings. That's probably the difference, I would think. Because if you actually get on and like other human beings, and if you don't like them, you just don't want to be part of them. Whereas, that's just putting it bluntly, but of course the demigods and the ones that are on the computer will speak these same things. But see, we have the, I'm just trying to show that it's all truth being spoken, or information coming out, whether you think it's through mystical means, you know, like more mystical. But, you know, these you know, like, don't forget that Lucifer, like I say, they read the human mind. Lucifer and its beings, especially the elite demigods, or those that are at a higher level, they read the human mind and they interpret it perfectly. So that's why they can literally be psychic and tell you more about yourself and what's going on with even other people than what you know, because they're reading your mind, interpreting. They're reading your thoughts and interpreting, and then putting it out onto the computer through the advanced elite android demigods. And I say demigods only in the sense that they have influence and they're successful in varying degrees. Like, if you think about it, like these videos or anything that is put out on a computer, it's all transhumanism. They're reading the human mind, interpreting, and then putting it out as individual androids, making individual, so-called authentic, real individual videos, telling you the truth, or telling you about yourself or what's going on around you. This is just an example, because these are the videos that have come up for me right now. Okay, so that's just an example. So they're actually, like, from my own perception, they literally download my thoughts and what I'm thinking and feeling, and even my ideas as I discover new things or realise and wake up to certain things, shall we say. They interpret that and then speak it through the mouths of the androids, Some of them are elite demigod androids, some of them may be further down the so-called social computer hierarchy or structure or whatever it is. In other words, some might be very popular and get a lot of people to watch them and admire them, and therefore they have more influence and more control. But it matters not, because the name of their game, I would imagine, is mainly to get real human beings to buy into their transhuman future, which has already happened. And that's why I suppose at some point, you know, it's been said that things eventually finish up because, you know, when technology takes over to a very large extent, I think this is what it's all about, is that, you know, it becomes something that original creation sees as not a benefit and not a good thing. And it's something that often will, because it is all so much about power and control, it sometimes, and usually I would think probably ends up finishing itself. But of course, it can finish real life as well in this process, I would think. That's what it feels like. And, you know, it's a bit like if something's going down, sometimes those that are going down want to take as much down with them. They're not interested in leaving anything behind, and that's very much the mentality of Lucifer's matrix, or even if you just say it's a matrix and the powers that be that do control everything, and we know that the earth is controlled. It's just whether you think it's all a united control system, or whether it's just like, if I looked at my own reality, I would think that I was just living in a combined controlled suburb area, which is the inner west of the city of Sydney in the country of Australia. And I would just assume that, because I wouldn't know, I don't really have any, I'm not really privy, as they say, to information of the whole earth. But I do think it is a total earth matrix, because even in my own area I see, like the plane going overhead right now at this incredibly late time at night, and you know that they're not regular planes on regular flight paths. You know that they are, I don't know how they do it, but their high technology probably means that even when I go outside, that even though those planes are up in the air, that they can see me very clearly, and they're only coming over to surveil me and to try to control me. Because they are an android species in human form, because they are different to real life, and because they need to control real life for them to continue on, you know, for their survival. So their survival, android, androgyne, technical beings. That's, I'm long making it long there so that